The Pyramid of Cheops has a secret, and we now know what it is. 4,600 years, dozens of earthquakes, and not a single crack inside. How on earth did this thing survive that?
Researchers have now listened deep into the masonry of the Great Pyramid, and what they found is incredible. We'll take a very close look at that today, and we're diving right in.
If you find topics like this as fascinating as I do, you can really support me by subscribing. Don't forget to hit the bell icon too. Thanks a lot, everyone.
And of course, I would also be very happy about every single thumbs up. 5,000 likes for this video should be enough to suitably impress the YouTube algorithm. So what are we talking about today?
The Pyramid of Cheops on the Giza Plateau in Egypt is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and the only one still standing today. Built 4,600 years ago from around 2.3 million stone blocks, it originally stood nearly 147 meters tall. This structure is a monument to human ingenuity in an era when there were no cranes, no computers, and no frozen pizza. And although the region around Cairo is anything but earthquake-free, the pyramid still stands today like a rock in the desert, literally. Yet several earthquakes have shaken the region over the past centuries. In 1847, for example, there was a 6.8 magnitude quake with an epicenter about 70 kilometers away.
1992, then even closer, magnitude 5.8, epicenter right at Giza. During this quake, some of the remaining casing stones actually fell from the upper parts of the pyramid, but the interior of the Great Pyramid remained unharmed. No crack, no damage, nothing. So the question is, how can it be that the Great Pyramid has suffered no earthquake damage for over 4 millennia, even though it was built in an era when you'd think they couldn't build so earthquake-proof yet? Is this perhaps a hint that aliens were the builders of the pyramids?
Nobody recognizes my achievement. It was so much work building that thing.
A new study published in the journal Scientific Reports finally provides an answer, and it has to do with something few would have expected: frequencies. Egyptian and Japanese scientists led by geophysicist Mohammed El-Gabri of the National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics in Cairo undertook an unusual project. Instead of digging or scanning, they listened. Using highly sensitive accelerometers, vibrations were recorded at 37 measurement points inside the pyramid. In the chambers, the passages, and on the exterior masonry, very quietly, very gently, the so-called ambient sounds of the masonry.
Sounds like a rather underwhelming hobby, listening patiently to walls, but it was worth it.
Because the scientists stumbled upon something completely unexpected. Every building has what is known as a natural frequency, a specific vibration rate to which it reacts particularly sensitively. When an earthquake wave hits exactly this frequency, the vibrations amplify each other. This is called resonance, and it's pretty much the worst thing that can happen to a structure.
If you remember your physics class, it's the same principle an opera singer uses to shatter that famous wine glass simply by hitting the right note. That's exactly what happened during the devastating 1985 earthquake in Mexico City.
The skyscrapers there had a natural frequency that happened to match perfectly with that of the soft ground. The result was catastrophic. Hundreds of buildings collapsed. And with the Pyramid of Cheops, the opposite is true. Measurements show that the pyramid's masonry vibrates at a natural frequency of around 2.3 hertz. The ground beneath and around it, on the other hand, vibrates at only about 0.6 hertz. That's a difference of a factor of 4. So when the Earth quakes, the pyramid simply responds at a completely different pitch. The seismic energy, so to speak, passes right by it without causing any damage. Mohammed El-Gabri himself says, from today's engineering perspective, this is all truly fascinating. But it's even more impressive when you consider the tools and resources available to us 4,600 years ago.
Incredible, right? That they built so earthquake-proof back then and did so through causes at the frequency level. But that's not all, because researchers have discovered something else that's at least as remarkable.
This natural frequency of around 2.3 hertz is not just a random value somewhere in the structure, it is the same everywhere, in the king's chamber deep inside, in the narrow passages, on the outer shell at various heights, everywhere, scientists measure values between 2 and 2.6 hertz with an average of 2.3. This means that dynamically, the pyramid behaves like a single homogeneous body, not like a pile of 2.3 million individually stacked stone blocks, but like a monolith. And from a modern engineering perspective, that is is truly astonishing.
But why is that? This is where geometry comes into play, and the ancient Egyptians, whether intentionally or not, got almost everything right. The mass of the pyramid is concentrated at the base and decreases continuously towards the top.
The geometric center of gravity and the so-called center of resistance lie almost at the same point. This minimizes torsional forces, that is, the twisting of the structure, which is particularly dangerous during earthquakes. In addition, the pyramid has no recessed corners, meaning no places where stresses can build up, and the broad foundation on the hard limestone bedrock of the Giza Plateau gives the entire system enormous stability.
And now things are getting even more interesting because there's something inside the pyramid that has particularly intrigued researchers, the so-called relieving chambers.
These 5 stacked cavities are located directly above the ceiling of the king's chamber, at a height of between just under 49 and 61 meters. Archaeologists have long been aware of their mechanical function. They distribute the enormous weight of the stone masses above and prevent it from concentrating on a single point. However, the new measurements now show that these chambers apparently also have a seismic function. Normally, with structures, the higher they are, the more they vibrate during an earthquake.
We know this, for example, from skyscrapers, where the upper floors are deflected more by vibrations than the lower ones. This is also seen in the pyramid.
Up to a height of just under 49 meters, the relative vibration amplitude increases with height, but then, in the relief chambers between 49 and 61 meters, this value drops again. The geometry of these chambers apparently actively dampens the vibrations. Whether this was intentionally designed by the ancient Egyptians or is a fortunate side effect of load distribution, the researchers cannot say with certainty.
They're talking about a possible connection, not a proven intention, because a frequency difference between the ground and the pyramid doesn't tell us whether the builders planned it that way. Let me know what you think.
What we can say with certainty, however, is that the result is breathtaking. A structure built with stone chisels and human muscle power that has proven to be nearly perfectly optimized over thousands of years.
Maybe it wasn't human muscle power after all. Built with this galactic bicep.
Looking ahead, the scientists plan to dig even deeper. Figuratively speaking, numerical modeling and a comprehensive structural analysis of the structure are intended to reveal how the pyramid would actually react to an even stronger earthquake. Until then, we are left with a monument erected 4,600 years ago that the Earth has simply been unable to shake since.
I'll keep you updated on any further findings. So remember to subscribe to the channel now so you'll always get a notification, and leave a thumbs up for those 5,000 likes.
And now I have something really exciting for you. I'm taking you on a very special journey to Geneva, Switzerland, to CERN. I was there where the greatest mysteries of the universe are being explored, where particles collide at nearly the speed of light, and where scientists are trying to answer the most fundamental questions of physics. What was there before the Big Bang? What is antimatter? You can find out what I experienced there, what I saw, and what truly left me speechless in the video shown in the top right corner. In the bottom right corner, there's another topic from the worlds of science and space. Otherwise, I'd say see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.